With Benjamin Netanyahu back in the picture, Israel is visibly shifting in front of its Western backers. The change is most visible from the outside. As a result of the recent election, the Western world is watching a so-called democracy head alarmingly toward more public fundamentalism, racism, fascism, and the dissolution of alleged democratic systems. This observation suggests that Israel is only shedding its mask. Israel's true face will be revealed, but at a high cost in terms of Palestinian suffering and the dissolution of a strategy that has previously served the occupation. In certain instances, this may be beneficial to the Palestinian cause. Netanyahu won his seat at the helm of the occupation's cabinet, and Knesset member Itamar Ben-Gvir, who was expelled from the Israeli occupation army in 1994 because of his psychological problems, was nominated to be the occupation's police minister. Some Israeli commentators say that this structure can push the Israeli occupation off the edge. Ben-Gvir has already begun implementing the new strategy against Palestinians, which was introduced with the ban on Palestinian flags in public places, claiming that waving the flag is an act of terror. A rise in the frequency of home demolitions and the seizure of Palestinian land is to be expected, as a new occupation government takes shape and starts to implement its declared policy aims amid an increase in violence against Palestinians. During the many years of occupation, Israel was attempting to manage a stabilization strategy. Israel's main objective has been to enforce its rule ever since it occupied the West Bank and the Gaza Strip following the 1967 aggression. This was done by controlling and restricting the Palestinian people, suppressing their political aspirations, and preventing Palestinians from taking part in resistance actions. Another tactic employed to suppress the Palestinians was to hinder the development of a healthy Palestinian economy, while tying a part of the Palestinian workforce to the Israeli economy through work permits, exploiting cheap labor on one hand, and controlling their source of income on the other. Despite these tactics, the recent surge of attacks against the Israeli occupation has exposed Israel's policy's limitations and its inability to suppress the Palestinians while breadcrumbing them. After the Unity Intifada of May 2021, which followed Israel's decision to evict Palestinian families from the Sheikh Jarrah district of Al-Quds, Palestinian resistance has seen an uptick in operations. Since then, resistance has spread to several cities in the West Bank, including Al-Khalil, Jenin, Nablus, and Beit Lahem. In the center of it all was the Lions Den resistance group. While the latest actions are still limited in their extent, Israeli security commentators and analysts express their fear that this might be the only prologue of something bigger. While Palestinians are given permits and other economic benefits, they also endure daily humiliation and the violence of Israel's occupation police and forces. Examples of this violence include night raids, land theft, forced eviction, rising settler violence, intrusive surveillance, mass arrests, and the growth of illegal Israeli settlements. The difficulty Israel is facing in stabilizing its hegemony and the new occupation government could potentially lead to an unpleasant outcome for Tel Aviv. Given the recent Israeli election results, it is most certain that Israel will try to assert its occupation rule over the Palestinians by using more crude violence. That said, Ben-Gvir has advocated for a number of actions that would only antagonize Palestinians and thus increase resistance and consequently undermine Israel's stabilization strategy. A third intifada could break out in the light of an extremist government that employs brute force and violence against the Palestinian people. As a result, Israel will be cornered into limited choices for the millions of Palestinians under the occupation, either another round of ethnic cleansing or an iron fist military rule. Both options would raise the cost of the occupation greatly, not to mention the possibility of the outbreak of a regional war.